Another sheet of paper. It's colored on the back and black and white on the front. That's what we're going to go through now. Pray for me as I'm writing the quizzes. If you think the quizzes are unfair or unjust, pray now. I'm writing the quizzes for all 4 books, and I don't share them. I don't share them with other regions so that they're for our region and for us. So if you have any comments about that, let me know. Make sure your students are registered, have everybody appropriately dressed, all of that before the quiz kind of stuff. So now we'll talk that have your students use the restroom, and we don't want food or drink up on the stage. There's really no reason that they should need it. If for some reason they do, remember they get a break. They get a quick break in there, so it just makes things simple. Last year we had somebody that insisted they needed water, and if that's the case, that's fine, but just as a general rule, we don't want that up on the stage.
Polly, I don't think we allow food and drink in the room, period.
There you go.
So.
It makes the cleaning much
They can do,
easier.
if they need something, they go out in the hallway, but we don't let it in the room at all.
Good, thank you. Yeah, we had water on the stage.
And I was the mean guy that when someone was grinding,
The bouncer.
that was grinding graham cracker into the carpet, and couldn't understand why we didn't all think that was a blessing.
Good.
But my child is up there. Well, you can watch on the back. Yeah.
So please collect the handbooks so that there's no open material in the sanctuary. So if your kids don't want to listen to all the other quizzes going on, and they can go out in the hall, but we'd like for them to be in and encouraging the other students. They've put a lot of work and a lot of study into this, but open materials, so just collect them, or they can go with the parents, just make sure they're not open. So please sit in the front row with the scorekeeper. So if this is where we are, we want the coaches here. We're going to set the head table up in the middle again, but don't sit behind us, okay? So don't sit behind us, sit up front here so that we can keep an eye on all the action. A coach may appeal an answer by raising their hand and just saying question. If you have anything you need to communicate with the head table just say question, even if it's a student that needs your assistant. Okay, so that'll be the thing to get our attention. Please let us know right away before the next question starts that there's an issue. And what we're going to do is we're going to be really quick. We're going to make a quick decision, and here's what the decisions are that we're going to make. We can park the question. I'll go ahead and investigate what's going on with that while the quiz continues. I may throw out that question. That allows us to keep the action moving forward without just bringing everything to a grinding halt, making it miserable. I will have the ability to then feed a new question. If we want to strike that question, I'll communicate that with the scorekeepers, and we'll add another question so that we'll always get our magic number of 10 for TNT and 20 or 25 for Trek and Journey. So that's an effort to realize that, yes, there's an issue. A lot of times with Trek and Journey, you'll be making eye contact with somebody up on stage, and they'll be like, I'm dying here, that was so wrong, and John will be like, I have no idea what to say next. And so that'll give us an opportunity to address the issue without bringing everything to a grinding halt. So just question.
For 20 points.
Yeah, and then just say, I have an issue with how that was worded, can you investigate that? Yes, and then we'll move it along. Does that make sense? Does that sound fair? So we have gotten really good feedback from other parts of the United States that say we love that. Because our questions are very simple, they're not meant to trip you up, they're not meant to trick the students, and so we don't say, in paragraph 4 on page 3, the item number 9 that's underneath the photo, what is the point of that question? By the time you've gotten there, the student has forgotten anything that they're talking about. So we're very simple with our wording, but sometimes in a different version or whatever, it may glitch up. So this is our answer to that whole thing, okay? So with Trek and Journey, we no longer keep time on the quiz. That's why there's no timeout, and that's why this is an effort to just keep things moving along. But you just use the question thing, and then we'll all have that there. So for multiple choice, it's the same for TNT, Trek, and Journey. They have 3 paddles, A, B, and C. They'll read the question. So now we're on this back sheet, okay, with the colors. Flip your sheet over, and this is the way the questions are read. So it'll say multiple choice question, or it might just say question, because if we're in TNT, they're all multiple choice questions. There's 10 of them, so they just might say question. So at that point, as soon as the word question comes up, the kids' ears should be listening. Keep their eyes down on their paddles and no talking at all. So this is hard for TNT kids. As soon as you say you have to keep your eyes down on their paddles, they're like this. You know, they're using it like this. And I know that, but this is where we really need you to coach well. Because we have coaches up on the stage that are looking for eye violations. They're looking for cheaters, and they don't want to catch anybody, okay? So please coach your kids well. This is not a time to cheat. If you have to cheat at Awana, oh, whoa is us, okay? So I know that's hard. It's nearly impossible, but please coach that well, okay? So then the quizmaster will read their question, the 3 possible answers. Select your answer means go like this. Okay? Well, if their paddles are here, it's going to be like this. Then you don't really need 5 seconds to do that. But if your eyes are going like this, you may have chosen A, and now you're going to choose, you know, something else. So all that can happen, which is why we love to have their eyes down at that point. And then when it says paddles up, you take it out of the thing. Can you put aside your cover? Yes, you can. Just figure it out in the first question or 2 and do the same thing all along, okay? Because sometimes I'm having a hard time getting them down. If you want to put that case underneath and just have them, that's fine. Then they need to have it high. So what we do is in the back of the stage, we have the kids who are sitting in the back, raise it up high. The kids who are more middle have them middling, and the kids who are way down front, we have them hold it up front so the scorekeepers can kind of see it stacked. So if you want to mention that to your kids, it would make it a lot easier. But when we do the test question, we show them all how to do that, and that's and then their team numbers right there. Scorekeepers will do that. They have to keep that sucker up there for quite a while. So especially if everybody got the same answer, that's an easy scoring. But if you've got A, B, and C, and they're all scattered, it's going to take the scorekeepers a little while. They may have to hold that thing up. So, you know, we'll put the older kids in the back. Theoretically, they can hold that thing up a little longer.
If you have a 7-footer, let them know.
That's it. Paddles down, and then they sheath them back in. TNT, 2 quizzers per team each. Each person has a set of paddles. Their score is combined. So they're each worth 10 points. Added together, 20. That's how they're scored. Trek and Journey, 1 set of paddles per team. And so they're all scored together that way. Any questions on multiple choice? It's easy, it's not that hard. I do put a tricky question in there that takes at least 1 for TNT, 1 kind of tricky question that keeps them thinking, processing. I use 70 to 80% of the material in the book, so I touch on a lot of different things. And TNT, this is where I touch on some of those questions that fit this format.
I would say that's not really a tricky question, it's one that requires thought. You're not trying to trick the kids, it's just trying to get them to think.
Good, that's a good way to put it, thanks. So TNT 10